Hello and welcome. I am Scarbalak, and we are once again on City of Heroes Rebirth with our Stalker, level 23, Tiger Shrike. Just bought her a couple of enhancements. By the way, let's just check this again. We have 4.126 million influence. We just bought a couple of enhancers. I'm not going to buy any more now. I only buy them when they're green. But I got a heal one up here, so we're now healing, instead of 149, 203 every time we hit reconstruction, which we can do every 30 seconds, right? So we can heal 200 hit points every 30 seconds. And if we had triple slotted this for heal, we would be healing 300 every 30 seconds. I mean, think about that, guys. It's equivalent of healing 10 hit points every second. That is awesome. Meanwhile, we also added some damage to focus. It's now going to do 60 damage a shot to anything that's not resistant to lethal. And we're in the mutant store on Talos Island, and we have one more mission to do for Mercedes. And so we're going to call her up, and the finale is to go fight the Magic Man, right? Devil's Timepiece explains how the Magic Man escaped from the ship. You must have caught him before he used the artifact to rewind time before you arrived, and then jumped ship. Big Tony said that he's in a warrior's hideout in Talos Island. I wonder what the story is behind that. You need to get over to Talos Island before the Magic Man disappears, so we got to go find the Magic Man. I guess he's not going to disappear, because this is marked as a finale. And I kind of wish they wouldn't do that, because it's sort of spoilers. Just call it part 5 or whatever. But, oh well. It's not like that's going to change. There's no live development, really, of this game anymore, so... I guess people... My guess is that people wanted to know that it was the end of the story arc. I don't know. I always preferred not to know. Heck, in the old days, they didn't even tell you were on a story arc. You had to realize it through the clues and everything. They didn't have the little book icon. I love the music in this game. Mostly because when I hear it, I feel like I'm playing City of Heroes, you know. It's super awesome. Did we just get stuck? No, it's loading. Okay, so we need to defeat the Magic Man now. I'm not going to spoilerize this to you, but because I don't know if I used this. I don't know if I showed this with. Oh darn! I was gonna say I don't know if I showed this with Silver Phoenix. I should have set this to +1. We'll do that after this mission. I think the time machine, the time thing of his, is going to make for a very interesting final battle, if I'm not mistaken. But the rest of these guys are going to go down like a knife through butter. Now they must have some resistance. Yep, 28 damage instead of 34, so he's got about 20% resistance. So that means for the warriors to take out the lieutenants, you've got to do build-up if you want to one-shot them. Always good to know that. We don't need to do that with Sue, but we do need to do it with warriors. And we don't need to do it with Sue sorcerers, but we probably do need to do it with the Sue ghosts. I don't know which way we want to go here. It's so awesome that for the most part they can't surprise you like that. I mean, that would have like been an instant battle that would have surprised the heck out of me, because I wasn't expecting anybody in there. If that were my scrapper. But with this character, yeah, they surprised me, but they couldn't see me, so too bad for them. There's nothing in here, right? I think we probably better go the other way. And I think we're going to need to clean this all out. Because I don't know if he shows up until you clean it out. My recollection is that he's basically gonna ambush us, and the reason he does, of course, is because he has a time machine, right? So he can like sneak behind you in time and show up where he knows you're gonna be, right? Is this an ambush? I don't know. Or did they just see me? I wasn't paying a lot of attention to what was up there, you know. And I still think that opening these doors should reveal you. No magic man in there yet. Let's see. This is a big warehouse. Right? Yeah, it's pretty big. They've got really big weapons, these guys. Big melee weapons, crossbows, things like that. These guys seem to have pretty long aggro range. Longer than most. I don't believe there are any glowies to click on. We just gotta find the magic man. And I'm not sure where he's gonna show up. I vaguely remember this mission, and I remember how it ends, but I don't remember how we got there with Silver Phoenix. Okay. So this all kind of circles back around to itself, it looks like. Love knocking him over. That guy didn't aggro to me, interestingly. So we're going to go ahead and hide. And then assassinate. Look at that. He died so fast he didn't even fall over. That is awesome. And I don't know if we're going to be able to assassinate the Magic Man. Because again, I think he ambushes us. Yeah, these guys have a really long aggro range, these guys over here. Look, even the guy all the way over got me. He was like the third one over back there. That's interesting. Not a hard. It's not hard, right? It's not a problem at all. They're white cons. They're not actually doing anything to me. And it's actually easier to just stand here and let them keep coming than to try to chase him down. There's another guy. Man, that does so much damage. And in the launch version of City of Villains, that Assassin Strike did not do that kind of damage in melee. It was still a very slow, interruptible attack. So the ability to do that in combat, to use it like a regular attack in combat, really ups your effectiveness as a Stalker. And I'm sure they did that because Stalkers are complaining that if you don't have the ability to assassinate, you lose your effectiveness. And this is fine soloing, but man, it sucked on groups. You had to be with a really good, smart group that was going to let you go in and start each fight, right? Otherwise, if they were just going to start battles, you couldn't assassinate people because they were moving around, and you know, while you were trying to assassinate person number 1, person number 2 is attacking you and interrupting you and stuff. So you got to be with a really good group that's willing to let you come up and do the assassination and then use that hit as the cue to start the battle. If you do that as a team, having a Stalker on the team is incredibly effective, because a Stalker can walk up and get that huge lead against somebody annoying like a boss, right? And they can go in there and do like a built-up, fully enhanced Assassin Strike against a boss and take out like 80% of his hit points, and then the rest of the team can just finish him. And it's super effective. Or they can completely X out a lieutenant, right? Just take him right out of the battle from the very beginning. And that changes the whole course of the fight, right? That makes it much easier. Just like taking one guy completely out of this fight makes it so much easier than having to fight all three of them the way you would as a scrapper, right? But a lot of teams are not patient enough to take advantage of that with a Stalker. They want to just attack, attack, attack. They don't want to be slow. And they just get impatient with the fact that the Stalker needs them to go more slowly in order to be effective. And so I think what the developers did was they said, okay, well, we'll make it so that you can use your Assassin Strike in combat, not interruptible, right? It's not interruptible in combat like when you're fighting. And so you can continue to be effective, because I'm sure people were saying scrappers weren't doing enough DPS, or Stalkers rather, weren't doing enough DPS because their DPS was so tied to the assassination, and it's hard to do that. There's the Magic Man. It's hard to do that when you are... it's hard to do the assassination when you're on a group. He is alone enough that I think I'm going to go take him. I don't know if this is going to be the end of it, guys. We'll see. Take one sturdy, one damage, one attack. We'll leave the rest for later, in case we need him. You see that? Well, look at the huge lead you get. Okay, so he went away, right? And now, yeah, so this is what happens. Then he comes at you healed up again, right? Because he can move in time, right? And so he went back to a time, or forward to a time when he was healed, and then came at me again. And he's going to do this, I believe, multiple times. Here he comes again. Just going to back up a little bit. I don't know if he can see me. He doesn't seem to be able to see me. So you gotta watch out for this patrol here. So my recollection was you've had to fight this guy like 3 or 4 times. And I didn't say anything because, you know, that's spoilers. Is he coming at me again? Yeah, he's coming at me again. Now there's 2 of him, you see. And that is pretty brutal. This is the tough one, because there's 2 of them. But the advantage of a Stalker is we took one of them out of the fight right away, right? And so now it's just me against one guy. Look, they're not even really doing anything to me. This proves that we really need to bump the mission difficulty here. And that is the mission, entrusted with the secret. The mysterious menders have noted that you have been exposed in some way to a temporal time travel. So this gives us the ability to do Ouroboros missions. And we get reward merits, and we're done with the mission and the story arc. So this is pretty awesome, guys. We can now go to Ouroboros, which is going to make moving among zones really easy, because you can teleport there and then teleport somewhere else. And we're going to call Mercedes. And look at that, we got like 2 beads of experience. 11,000 experience, 5,600 influence we got. Look at all these enhancements we got. Man. We got a magic endurance, that is nice. We can put that on, let's see, this one takes 6. Let's put that one on this. And now it's a +1. The rest of these we can sell at the natural shop. You have it. You've recovered the Devil's Timepiece. It would seem that Mickey Maloney had never heard of a paradox before. Using the watch to go back to a time and place where he already existed created a temporal paradox which stops the Devil's Timepiece when he needed it most. So when there were 2 of them together, he then couldn't do it again because he created a temporal paradox. So that's great. She has even more missions for us, but we're going to do some other stuff first, I think. Let's see, what's the time on this? 14 minutes. Alright, well, we're here in Talos Island. It's pretty quick to do. So let's go ahead and go to the natural shop and sell this stuff. That was so much easier than with my scrapper, in part because I knew what was going to happen. And I knew what was going to happen, and so I was ready for it. But it was also easier simply because as a stalker, I kept being able to do enough damage to him. Like, it was letting me assassinate him a couple times, and that was able to take him down to like 25% of his hit points. Alright, so let's sell these things. Boom, 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 boom. Whoops. What else am I selling here yet? Sell, 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 sell. And we have 4.17 million XP, or influence now. And I can call it influence instead of information, because we're in Paragon City. Okay. So what are we going to do, guys? Are we going to try another contact? Should we try Andrea Mitchell? She's at the top of the list. Let's try Andrea Mitchell. She's right here, too, I think, right? Andrea Mitchell was a reporter for, like, ABC News, I believe, in real life. A woman named Andrea Mitchell. She didn't look anything like this, at least in my lifetime. She was a lot older than this, but she was a reporter. So she says, in the regular Richte War, there's been a resurgence of mysticism. This has helped in some cases even provide the city with new hope, but it has also, oh, this is awesome. I love the Banished Pantheon. It has also caused a great deal of trouble. One new cult calls itself the Banished Pantheon. They have some sort of dark powers, and we're going to find Marion Ford because they've kidnapped her. So we're going to find her. Where is she? She's over there. 6/10 of a mile away. Don't worry, Marion. Tiger Shrike is coming. Oh. Beans. There we go. And that jump pack is a huge lifesaver. Because otherwise I've had to go all the way around. Of course, it's way the heck over on the highway there. I could have just swum across, I guess. So yeah, the Banished Pantheon. They are an awesome part of this game. Oh, got a badge. That's from running along the highway. And that is Bridge Holder. So yeah, the Banished Pantheon, the storyline of these guys is that they were a pantheon of gods that were banished from the real world by the other gods, and they want to come back. And they're very cool. I really like them. They're like the Vajalok on steroids, because they have like corpses and cadavers and stuff, kind of. But they have these awesome like totem bosses. They're so cool. So we need to find Marion Ford. Oh, and this is going to be also so much easier than with the Scrapper, right? These guys are debuffers and stuff. They're like controllers. But I'm just going to one-shot them. Oh, darn it. I forgot to set my notoriety again. Guys, somebody remind me. When I come out, I've got to remember to do that. They don't have any resistance to lethal, I believe. So they've got these really cool, like, tribal masks. And they actually have these like floating tribal masks that are some of their enemies. These guys are also really annoying in terms of the debuffing they do. The shamans are all really annoying. But we're just going to one-shot them, and then we don't have to deal with their debuffing. Makes it so much easier. I used to like come in and try really hard to like knock them down and pound them as hard as I could with my scrappers so that they wouldn't debuff me and everything, and you don't have to worry about it with a Stalker. Avalanche Shaman and Storm Shaman. Okay, well, we'll stay up here. We may have to actually fight for real here. Oops, wrong guy. Yeah, see, he saw me. So now you're going to see what they actually fight like. Actually, you're not. Because I am going to beat this guy up. Oh, now you're going to see it. So, alright. So now I'm going to placate this guy and assassinate him. Ah, I missed him. Yeah, that stupid tornado or hurricane. It's a huge debuff. But we got him anyway. So that's kind of more what it's like when you have to fight them for real. So with Stalkers, you might be thinking, and you might be close to the truth if you thought it, dang, these guys are so much more powerful than Scrappers. I've actually had a person who loves Stalkers say that. They're more powerful because they're doing, like, Scrapper damage, but they can come in and, like, not take aggro and just assassinate guys and make the battle so much easier. And yes, when you play solo like this, they are. But if you're on a group, if you're fighting multiple spawns worth of enemies, if you're fighting big spawns, if you're doing like +2 times 3, where you're fighting 3 people's worth of enemies, then they're not so good because their assassination only takes out one guy, right? And the smaller percentage of the spawn that guy is, the less it's weighting things to your advantage, right? So, you know, you're fighting a lieutenant and a minion, you one-shot the lieutenant, you just have to fight a minion. You're fighting 3 minions, you one-shot one of them, you're only fighting 2. If you're fighting 2 lieutenants, a boss, and 3 minions, right, then taking out one boss is still going to subject you to being attacked by minions and stuff, and lieutenants. But this thing, this is cool, this floating mask. Those guys are awesome. And it looks like Marion is right there. And so guys, when we get out of this mission, I've got to set the notoriety up because it's just way too easy. Assassinate one, wipe out the other, and then I guess we just lead her out, and we're done. Oh, we don't even have to lead her out because this is an older mission. We got a temporary power, so we got the Idol of Lugaboo, which is just a temporary power. We're gonna put that in number 7. I don't use the temporary powers that much. They usually cost a lot of endurance, and I have very careful endurance management on my characters, so it throws me off. Alright, so we're gonna go back to Andrea. And this time I am going to take the water. So we're going to go back to Andrea Mitchell, and we're going to tell her what happened. And Marion says, I've seen a lot of horrible things since I started this investigation. So they worship some kind of lost godlike beings, horrible prehistoric entities that demand that they learn all about power. And so Lugaboo is their patron. And so she gives me a new contact. Georgia, or this is his family, or Lost. Sky Raiders and Lost. Let's do family. And in the meantime, we're done with this character's story arc. No, just her mission. We've got the story arc, I think. We don't have her story arc yet, but we will. So guys, I'm going to head back to Steel Canyon, and I'm going to change our notoriety to +1. In the meantime, I'll take a break here, and I'll be back with another episode soon. Until then, I am Scarpalock, and this is City of Heroes.